National Professional Fishing League, Stop 4, Lake Eufaula. How will it fish? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the vlog. If you're new, my name is Steve Chapman. Different background, I know. Lake Eufaula, Stop 4 for the National Professional Fishing League happens June 18th through the 20th. Now, before I get started, I need to make sure that I apologize. I don't do videos to cause grief for the NPFL. I really don't. It's not to stir the pot. It's not to do anything but to give my perspective on what I see as a fan, and a fan first. Now, take it for whatever it's worth. I talked to a very close friend about my video on the NPFL, and he was very hypercritical on my take about what Luke and Fat Cat are doing as commentators. He enlightened me on some of the things that I just didn't know, that nobody would know. So I'm going to apologize to Luke and Fat Cat for being overly critical on what I see as a fan. Because we don't know, well, the first things first, they are the only truly live broadcast. That is not known in the industry. You might think that Major League Fishing and Bass are doing it live because it seems like it is, but there really is a tape delay to it, so that when things happen, they can cut back and forth and keep things moving at a really different pace. The NPFL is not doing that. Could they do it in the future? Maybe. Right now, they're just trying to get all the bugs out of what's happening. They've got a new platform that's wonderful for 2025, and Luke and Fat Cat are dealing with things right then. They're not getting a tape delay. They're not getting a 30-second dump button like I used to have when I did the radio show. It wasn't 30 seconds, it was 2 8-second one, but you know what I mean. Bass and Major League Fishing have a tape delay, kind of like what poker does. Poker has a tape delay so that you can't watch it live and then tell somebody exactly what the hole cards are for the person. The NPFL is not doing that. They're doing it live, so when they have issues that are happening, they are trying to make sure that they do their best job to not only hide them, because they don't want it to be, they're not trying to hide them from everything, but what they're trying to do is make sure that they keep the flow of what's going on in that instance. And as someone who did radio for 13 or 14 years, when you have a producer in one ear and you have yourself in the other ear, it's hard to sometimes manage it. So my apologies to the NPFL, to Luke, and to Fat Cat. I sincerely apologize. And the last thing I'll say about this is that this is their livelihood. And I'm not trying to be critical to take away from anything that they're doing. Because quite honestly, 99% of the people can't do what Luke and Fat Cat have done. You might think you could be a commentator. The truth of the matter is it takes a different skill set of being able to listen and do things, and it's just not as easy as we think. And I think it's come across as when someone is critical of them that it might affect their livelihood, and I don't ever want to do that. So again, apologies to NPFL, to Luke, and to Fat Cat. Now, stage 4 is on Lake Eufaula, June 18th through 20th. I have all my notes down here. They're launching out of Extreme Cove Marina, and the weigh-ins are going to be at Nicholas Point. The weather forecast, it's just still too far out to know what's going to go on. But in 2024, the Bassmaster Open took 52-8 to win, 49-12 for second place, and that was a 3-day event using forward-facing sonar. Remember, the NPFL has prohibited forward-facing sonar. They have gained a lot of traction in the industry because they are the only ones who said we're not going to allow it. Now, they still allow some technology. We need to remember that. And in perspective mode in some of them, while maybe not a live format or live picture, you still can use it to find fish. But they're not allowing forward-facing sonar, which a lot of people love. Now, in that Bassmaster Open 2024, John Sokup, who fishes the NPFL, finished in 19th. Tim Frederick finished in, I think my notes say 87th. Stephanie Hemphill Pellerin finished in 144th. Andrew Upshaw in 164th. And they had 195 plus, give or take, anglers fishing that open. But it took 52-8 to win. Now the NPFL has 115 plus or minus anglers heading to Lake Eufaula. The average fish per day is probably going to be in that 12 to 14 pound range. This is another cookie cutter fishery, but getting that kicker is going to be crucial. The 2025 Bassmaster Nation qualifier, it took 42.5 to win. And in the NPFL in 2021, John Sokup won the event with 53.9. David Gaston, Landon Tucker, Luis Fernandez were all up there, but that was when forward-facing sonar was being used. Also, that tournament was held at the end of March. I think you're going to see some of the big name pros that have done well from the elites and the BPT. Zach Burge in 2024 won a BPT event April 30th through May 5th. So look for Zach to do well. Look for Patrick and Hackney and all those guys to do well. But also keep a lookout for John Sokup and that Luis Fernandez and some of the NPFL anglers that have some experience on Eufaula. But look for the NPFL to have another good event. This should be, they had a knockout. The first event of the year was unbelievable. The last two events have been very good. They've done much better with their production over the last two tournaments, and I expect it to get better and better as the season goes on. But are you going to watch the NPFL? Comment below and tell me what you think. Thanks for all the new subscribers and members and everyone who's interactive on the channel. Hopefully the background noise isn't horrible and the planes, but just hang with me. I can't do anything at the house right now because there's stuff going on there and lots of other things. So I'll keep you in the loop as I can. But thank you. But if you're not a subscriber, click that like and subscribe, and welcome to the team and family. Remember, take a kid fishing, tight lines, cheers, and get your fish on.